Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're the Rambling Reviewers.
And today we're looking at Disney's Frozen. Very
Not
appropriate considering it's very, very cold outside.
Yeah, the whole polar vortex thing has it in its deadly grip. We're Chicago natives.
Basically, Disney took their ad campaign way too far and
Yeah.
developed a weather machine.
Curse you, Disney! Why did you develop the weather dominator technologies of Cobra? Although, honestly, to tell you the truth, Disney is the sort of company that would develop a weather control machine. I don't think they'd use it for evil so much as they just have that much weirdness and magic and stuff that
And
they
money.
think, you know what we should do? Let's build a weather control machine. Why? I don't know. We
Anyway.
could probably make a ride out of it at Epcot or something.
They
yeah.
probably will make a ride out of this movie at some point. This is a good one.
Yeah.
I first saw the ad for this. It was like, the best thing since The Lion King. And I was
Okay,
like,
that was...
That is a big claim to make, you guys. And I wouldn't say it's as good as The Lion King, but it's good.
Wait,
It is-
did you say the best thing or the best movie?
I don't know, whatever. I saw the ad
Because
only
the best
once.
thing since The Lion King is, well... Oh, jeez, I can't think of something that's good. Deep Space Nine, that's pretty good.
Anyway.
In the Pale Moonlight, great episode. Watch it.
Yeah. Anyway.
But it is pretty good.
So... It's based on a story by Hans Christian Andersen. I'd never read, so this
I've
is
never
all
even
new
heard
for
of,
me.
so yeah, this is
I think
pretty
I
new
heard of
for
it
me.
Once, maybe.
Yeah, story is... Okay, there's a few things I'd like to get out of the way. One, some people have been saying, oh, it's the first Disney story to show love between sisters, to which I say, look at Lilo and Stitch, you dumbasses.
I suppose so, yeah.
Second, people were complaining on the internet, so big shocker there. Someone complaining on the internet?
Oh my gosh. It's not something we would ever do.
Oh, no. Wait.
Go ahead.
By the way, in case you're wondering, no, what I said about Equestria Girls is not complaining. That was ranting.
This is whining.
Okay, yes, we're bronies. We get it. But anyway, so, crud, what was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh, darn. Okay, so another thing people have been complaining about is, oh, it's all white people in this movie. There aren't any color people. Yes, that's because it takes place in Denmark.
Or
In the Middle
Norway,
Ages.
Or one of these peoples.
Yeah, they don't have black people there. It's not a racist thing. It's a fact that we're in... This isn't like America, where you have all these multinational cultures. Like
Multi-ethnic. But yeah, I guess multinational too, in a way.
well, yeah, but still,
multi-ethnic is what
yeah,
you're saying.
there aren't going to be a whole lot of dark-skinned people in a place with
alright.
no sun.
I think we get it.
Okay, but the movie itself was pretty good.
It's good. It follows a trail of movies that we have with Tangled and Enchanted, which is we're going to do princesses, but we're going to be self-aware about it and play with some of the tropes of it. And I like that. It makes everything fresh.
Indeed.
And
it corrects a grievous mistake that Enchanted made.
yes.
They had Idina Menzel in a Disney musical, and they had her sing, finally! And my God, she sounds glorious.
Yes, she does. A lot of songs in this show. There's a lot of like scenes that would normally come across in dialogue. They're like, well, let's make a song out of it, and it worked.
Yeah,
really well.
and they had really good songs.
Do you want to build a snowman, for instance? You know,
I think the most egregious example was the whole song about reindeer are better than people, which I say...
that was okay just because it wasn't a full production. You know, like whatever.
yeah.
This guy's just playing to himself. When Olaf's song about melting became a song about summer, he doesn't know about melting.
Okay, well, we'll get to that in a bit, you
right.
know. Well,
Are we going to
obviously
summarize the plot then? Is that what you want?
Yeah, just real
right,
quick,
let's
you
do
know,
it.
a quick summary. Okay, once upon a time in a fairy tale kingdom of Arendelle, Arendelle?
I forget.
Arendelle.
Arendelle.
Yeah, Arendelle. There was a king, a queen, and two princesses.
Yep.
Elsa and Anna. Elsa has magic snow powers. Anna does not.
Yep.
So one day, Elsa and Anna are playing around, and Elsa knows she's not supposed to play with her magic, but she does anyway, and she shoots Anna in the head with a bolt of ice magic.
Yeah.
On accident.
Yes.
It's not like this isn't some Doctor Doom premeditated thing. Like,
No.
beware the power of Elsa.
That would be interesting.
It would be interesting and awesome. But anyways, Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So anyways, they go to the trolls, and the trolls erase all knowledge of magic from Anna's mind and say, look, you gotta learn how to control this thing, or bad stuff's gonna keep happening. And they also give some messages about how fear is gonna be your greatest enemy, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's important to the plot, actually.
Well,
so,
yeah,
yes.
but I tend to ignore exposition.
Well, that explains something, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so next, it shows that Elsa has become increasingly isolated from anything else because she's afraid of hurting anyone.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a thing. And Anna grows increasingly lonely because her parents said, don't let anyone into the house.
And they never tell her what's up with Elsa.
Yeah.
And she has no memory of any of that stuff because the trolls took it away.
For some reason.
It was important for the magic. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so fast forward 3 years. No, literally, that's what happens. They fast forward 3 years.
Yeah, that's fine. Lots of movies do that.
Fast forward 3 years, and it's the day of Elsa's coronation. I'm going to get those names mixed up. I apologize.
In the middle there, the parents died because Poseidon was mad at them.
Yeah.
Not actual Poseidon. They just, they died at sea.
Yeah.
It was a very efficient intro, by the way. All this stuff happens in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, anyways, Elsa is getting crowned as Queen of Arendelle.
Yep.
Arendelle.
Whatever. The kingdom.
Steve.
The queendom.
The Kingdom of Arendelle. So we're introduced to some of the minor supporting characters, like no, not minor.
Support other characters. Just move on.
And we're introduced to Hans, who he and Anna fall in love.
Yep.
Sort of, kind of, but we'll explain that later.
Yep.
And they ask for Elsa's permission to marry.
Yep.
Now, naturally, since this is a man that she has literally known for about 3 hours, and she wants to marry him,
yeah.
Elsa quite reasonably says, no, fuck that shit. It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
In a fit of, I don't know what you call it, jealousy, rage, desperation.
Distress.
Anna grabs one of Elsa's gloves off, which freaks her out, and she fires a blast of ice across the floor, revealing to everyone that, yeah, she's kind of an ice mage.
Yeah.
She then runs away, somehow also initiating the third ice age.
Yeah.
Or fourth.
Did we only have 2? Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever. And lots of ice everywhere.
As in, the entire ocean is literally frozen now.
Well, as far as we can see.
Yeah,
Matt likes to say it's the entire ocean, but we didn't have satellite feed of the other hemisphere, so clearly.
Yeah, but still, out to the horizon is still a pretty significant amount of ice to have frozen.
And a very small portion of the ocean, like maybe if you know scale.
Well, yeah, still, that's a vast amount of ice.
It is a vast amount.
I mean, like, Aang in the Avatar state might be able to do that. Yeah. So, that's... Wow.
That's a wrap.
But anyways, so Anna says, okay, Hans, you're in charge, even though I've known you for 4 hours. This has proven to be a wise decision later.
There's apparently nobody else to do the job.
Even though, apparently there's been no king or queen to rule the nation, so the'd probably have to be some sort of region.
Who was in charge? Yeah.
So, or was it like total anarchy, and the reason they were all celebrating is because they end the gang warfare?
Someone will make laws now, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Anna runs up into the mountains where she meets...
Elsa ran there first. But yes,
okay,
Anna...
Elsa runs up into the mountains, and she has a frankly beautiful song about how she's letting it all go.
And she's going to embrace her powers and a new life away from everybody else.
And she creates a castle and flawless bridges of ice and new outfit for herself. And she creates life from nothing.
Without even noticing, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's essentially God in this film.
A little bit.
No, a little bit. She spontaneously creates life out of ice.
Yeah.
How do you describe that except from God? Seriously, Thor was less impressive as a god than Elsa was. So Anna runs up into the mountains, and she realizes that, hey, maybe riding off into, frigid, icy, wintry conditions without bringing any backup supplies is a bad idea. So she stops at a trading post run by the coolest Swedish guy or Finland guy, or I don't know. He's kind of cool, and he's from that area of the world, and I like
Scandinavian, I guess.
Whatever.
We don't know jack about geography.
No, we know geography. The problem is I don't know anything about nationalities.
Well, that's part of it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, whatever. I don't judge people by their nation. I'm not a racist like you.
I didn't say I was a racist.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Oh,
racist.
Good to know. All right.
But anyway, so yeah, and there she meets Kristoff, who was there earlier in the movie, but now he's being reintroduced, and his reindeer Sven, who are bribed to take her to the North Mountain, where all the icy weirdness is coming from.
Paid more than bribed, but yeah.
Whatever. I think a bribe is sort of pay.
Whatever.
Anyways, along the way they meet Olaf, the comic relief of this film.
Yeah.
He's a snowman that Elsa just created for no reason.
Accidentally.
Yeah. This is why I consider her to be basically a god in this film. She creates life on accident. She's like the forest spirit in Princess Mononoke. Every time he steps, like 1,000 plants spring up and then die instantly.
That's one thing to compare it to. Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, he's a snowman, and here's where his creepy song comes in. His desire is to feel the summer sun. So keep in mind, he's a snowman.
I wasn't entirely sure how to feel during that song. I was thinking, like, is this a ha-ha funny song, or is this a oh god he doesn't know song? Like, it was alright. It was just a little bit of this guy's gonna die. Okay.
Even the characters looked pretty uncomfortable with.
Yeah, but which did make it better for the audience. Like, okay, they know too.
Kristoff takes one look at. Yeah. He's staring at him, then he leans over to Elsa. Anna, darn it. Anna, I'm going to tell him. Don't you dare. Then as they're walking away, well, someone's got to tell him.
Yeah.
Anyways, they make their way to Elsa.
Mm-hmm.
The real Elsa this time, not the Elsa that I keep mixing up with Anna, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, and so they come inside her giant icy castle.
Yeah.
And they have a big musical number about how...
it's actually pretty small. Oh, matter. Medium-sized musical number.
Yeah, the visuals are impressive, though. About, now they're together again, they can fix everything, and...
Well, so says Anna, and Elsa says no.
And Elsa says, I'm not going back. Well, you kind of have to, because you froze Arendelle, or Arendvale, or whatever.
Oh, for heaven's sake. I'll
Crapville.
just write it out for you sometime.
New Crapville.
Okay.
And then this leads to Angsting by Elsa. This year's newest perfume sensation. Angsting by Elsa.
Oh. There's been like 5 other films before this called Frozen.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so... And in her rage, she accidentally shoots Anna in the heart with ice magic.
Yep.
Which, for some reason, is way worse than getting hit in the brain with ice magic. Seriously, your brain is the most complex part of your body. It's one small change in a neuron, and you could be either a vegetable or a psychotic.
Magic.
Yeah, bullshit. You have magic. You need to establish rules for magic. No, that's not an excuse anymore.
Actually, they didn't establish rules. That was the whole point of that first scene with the troll. Here are the rules for magic. Heart is a better target than the head for some reason.
Okay, so headshotting is apparently not an option in this universe. Because apparently that's unnecessary. All you need is your heart.
Yeah. Anyway.
So apparently this is a universe where it runs on ancient Egyptian logic, where the heart was the source of all
Why the hell
emotion.
not? It's fine. You've said so before. You're fine with bullshit so long as it's consistent. They were consistent about the heart thing.
Yeah, good point.
All right.
It just, biology. That's not how the brain and the heart work.
That's not how ice works, for that matter.
Okay, yeah, well, she was doing spontaneous generation. I'm more fine with that than something that I know the rules of.
Interesting. All right, go ahead.
So anyways, yeah, she gets shot in the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name.
Oh, no. All right.
But anyway, so then they have to return,
Yep.
and Kristoff reveals that he was raised by the trolls. Wait, if he was raised by the trolls, then who were those guys with at the beginning of the movie that he was with? Was he just a kid? Was he hanging out with them? If so, how did he get those tools and stuff? Was his parents one of them? Was he kidnapped by the trolls?
I don't think so.
Or was he was he raised by his parents and then the trolls, kind of took him in, kind of like Calvin and Hobbes type of thing?
I figure he was just a ward of the village, and then he became a ward of the trolls, or something like that.
Yeah, whatever. But anyways, the trolls show up, and they completely ignore any of Kristoff's warnings, saying, "Hey, this is important," and say, "Oh, you're gonna make the perfect wife for our Kristoff," and try to.
And they sing a song about getting them together and whatever.
Yeah,
and then
it's still a good song, but
yeah.
Still, when someone's life is in danger.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Yeah, but
so then they tell her that okay, you got the ice in your heart, you're gonna die without an act of true love. So they go, oh, let's go kiss Hans from the who's back in Arendelle.
Anna kisses Hans.
Yes,
look,
not everyone. Just Anna. Olaf solely said that. Let's go kiss Hans. No, not all of you.
Yeah. Anyway, so they go back to Arendelle, which is in an even deeper ice age than before because reasons.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Hans is actually back at the ice castle and has taken Anna, Elsa, prisoner.
Man, we're getting there. So he's taking her prisoner and stop her from using her magic by putting manacles on her hand or whatever.
Yeah, or something like that.
Metal glove things.
Yeah. Anyways, so then Anna gets back to the palace and it's revealed that Hans was evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like 13th in line for the throne and he didn't want to wait any longer, so he figured, I'll either marry Elsa or Anna and kill him off once I'm the king.
Yep. That's it, yeah. After revealing his evil plan, he walks out, figuring that Anna is going to magic freeze to death. And then Olaf shows up, because apparently he's just wandering the palace now. I don't know.
Yeah, why is no one more shocked at the fact that there is a sapient pile of snow?
There was that one off-camera screen.
Yes, one off-camera screen. Seriously, if they freak the hell out over Elsa's powers,
Yeah.
sapient snowman!
That's a thing. So he finds out that Kristoff is coming back, because Kristoff is doing that because he thought, oh crap, there's a even bigger ice storm thing happening. It could kill Anna. Yeah. So, okay, let's go off and we'll kiss Kristoff. In the meantime, Elsa has escaped from her prison. Hans goes after her. He plays nice, but actually he plans to chop her head off with a sword. Having justified this because, supposedly she's evil and stuff. And then we do a bit where Anna is supposedly going to meet up with Kristoff and get kissed by him, and that'll be an act of true love, which will save her from the ice in her heart, but nice little subversion. Instead, she gets in the way of the sword, she sacrifices herself to save her sister, which itself constitutes an act of true love, thereby curing her, and then Elsa figures out how her powers work and fixes everything.
And thankfully, since they were standing on an ice sheet, they were just over where a sunken ship was, which is raised to the surface, because otherwise that would have been really awkward. Can you imagine what would have happened if it didn't? She's like, no, the ice goes away. And they all, fall into the ocean.
Yeah, she had control over it, so it would have been fine.
Yeah. Although, I'm guessing all of the nations are going to be pretty pissed. The ice should have, done some severe structural damage to those boats.
She can probably pay for it. She's a queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're probably going to be pissed at her, too, Because the main, ever see what a simple frost can do to a crop? Now try an entire ice age.
You still haven't established she took the whole planet.
I'm not saying it doesn't even have to be the whole planet. It's just the local region that's turned into ice.
I guess. Whatever.
But anyway, so yeah, everything is.
Everything's cool.
Everything's cool in the end.
Yeah. No pun intended, but you can take a pun if you like.
Yeah.
So now that we're 18 minutes into this, let's talk about how we felt about the show. Though we did say at the beginning it was good. I like the songs.
Songs were great.
I felt a little that Olaf's song was a little out of nowhere, and then the troll song, but that was more important to the plot. More important to the themes or whatever. Olaf in general, you were pointing out earlier.
Olaf was not one of. He was a character, but you could have taken him out.
He was unnecessary.
He was unnecessary.
Except for comic relief. Comic relief is good, but it's nice if the comic relief guy is also advancing the plot in some way.
It's Chekhov's gun, If you have a rifle on stage in Act 1, you expect it to be fired before the play is over.
Right, though I don't think he constitutes Chekhov's gun.
Well, no, I know. I'm just using it to refer. Everything has a point, or it's supposed to have a point in fiction. This is a really basic tenet of it. Mm-hmm. If you have a character introduced, that character needs to do something by the end.
I suppose so. Yeah, have their own arc, or yeah. So yeah, he was a little bit tacked on. It didn't really bug me. A few things were fuzzy. So Elsa has the power to make ice whenever she feels like it. Also, when she gets scared or distressed, ice shows up all over the place even though she doesn't want it. And then she gets rid of the ice in the end by the power of love, rather literally, and just, now I can make ice go away. It was a little odd that ice was both the result of good things and bad things emotionally. Like, it would have been simpler, though this would have messed the whole plot up, if okay, when I get upset, everything freezes, and that's bad, always. Simple. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just thematically, just a little odd. When she, let's see, well, I'll start from the beginning. She injures her sister, and they go to the trolls.
Brain damage! Why did that not apply?
And they go to the trolls.
Who are apparently neurosurgeons.
They go to the trolls, who say, okay.
Apparently not cardiologists.
So they go to the trolls.
Hey,
put that on a t-shirt.
Well, hey, we're the rambling reviewers. We ramble.
All right. Who say we not only have to take the magic out of her, but also all the memories of magic, so she has no notion that Elsa has this power at all. And then they keep it a secret from her. And I guess I felt the deal was if she ever remembers that magic existed to begin with, then this will trigger the original injury again, and she'll be unconscious and near death or something like that. Except she does learn about magic, and her health is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why you had to keep it a secret all those years. Like, just tell her, honey, you got zapped by magic the other day. We had to erase your memory. Sorry about that. Please don't ever tell Elsa to do anything magical. Elsa, don't do anything magical. Okay, lesson learned. Here we go. There was no clear need for the secrecy.
And I would have tried... I mean, one of the best ways that has been repeated in fiction over and over again. If you're afraid of something, you need to face your fears. You can't run and hide from it. This is, like, literally older than television. So what you should have done to prevent yourself from hurting someone accidentally with your powers is familiarize yourself with your powers. Train in their use. Yeah. Go up into the mountains and practice on shooting rocks with ice.
Yeah, it was unclear. She's supposed to get control over powers. It was a little unclear how. It seemed to all revolve around managing your emotions and don't feel anything, which I kind of like this notion of, like, she's trying to suppress all her feelings, and then she can't, and the true solution is to actually deal with the feelings. A little vague, though, is just, just control your powers, vaguely. And they didn't seem to, like, maybe get more advice from the trolls a few years later.
Yeah, they seem
Could you tell us a little more about how this ice works?
They seem to know about this magic. You'd think, like, you'd have one of them on your staff to say, hey, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
We're trolls, bitch. We know what we're doing.
Something like that.
Also...
So that was vague. So then the parents die, and then there is no regent character who appears to be in charge of the place.
So what was it? Like anarchy outside was...
I mean, I presume there was a regent who just never shows on screen for some reason.
Yeah, and if there was a regent, where the hell was he when Anna went to go rescue Elsa?
Yeah.
I mean, she left it all in the hands of a prince of another nation?
Now, I can understand.
How would we react if Obama did that? Okay, well, I'm going to the Vatican. While I'm out, Vladimir Putin is going to be in charge. No, you delegate responsibility to Biden. I mean, yes, there's all the jokes about Biden, but still, we have a chain of command for a reason.
I mean, I totally understand it from Anna's perspective, and that she's, hopelessly in love. But it is odd that there's no one else even to speak up and say, hey, wait a minute, I thought this was my job. I'll be in charge. No? Okay. We'll just slide over that, pretend it didn't happen type of deal. No. All right, so, but backing up a little. So we come to Coronation Day, and she, I guess, just because it's such a big, important tradition, she has to be, seen in public and do her thing. And then at the ball, she accidentally reveals that she's a sorceress, has ice magic, whatever, and people freak out, and I was like, oh, is she like a witch to them? Is this like the X-Men and everybody hates you because you're different? Yeah. because that wasn't really established. It wasn't like, if people know you have powers, they will hate and fear you. You know, so many sorcerers have plagued our land before, and no one should know that you have this power.
The best I can figure is due to some vague Christian imagery that cropped up here and there. There was one cross
that showed up.
There was a cross, and they were in a church.
That's true. There was a church.
So, you know, the best thing I can think of is the old Catholic Church's decree that, you know, all witchcraft is of the devil, and you should hate and fear it.
That should have been established if that's a thing. And if it's not, and the thing is, though, if it was a thing, okay, it goes both ways. If witchcraft is okay by everyone, then there's no need for everyone to freak out. So that part of the plot doesn't happen. But if witchcraft is not okay by everyone, then the ending is kind of fricked up because Frick, the Ice Queen, is still in charge. Everyone run!
Yeah, the movie should have. If that was the case, the movie should have ended with like Elsa, with Anna rising to power because one of the servants assassinated Elsa in her sleep.
I guess. So the idea is they're not afraid of magic per se. They're afraid of the fact that it's out of control, and then she gets it in control by the end. But again, could have developed a little more. What exactly do people feel? Does the Duke of Wesselton, is he typical in his beliefs? Does everyone think she's a monster? Why do we think that magic is evil? She didn't actually try to kill anyone. Now, later on, she, you know, freezes up everything. Freezes up the whole harbor.
Yeah, and I would not be that willing to forgive her for that. I mean, you nearly killed us all with hypothermia. There was probably some death here and there.
Maybe. It's like, this is a very small kingdom, apparently.
Yeah, only one town.
Yeah, it was a little weird. So a little vague as to what people think about her and why. She runs off on her own, and she's singing about how lonely she is, and she's distressed and all this. And then she transitions into like, this is awesome! I'm free! I can do whatever the hell I want! That's a little odd. Great song, but it's a little odd how fast that transition happened, I felt. And that it was so complete as far as that song was concerned. There was no little section later on where she says, you know, I'll be lonely without my sister, but I have to do this to protect her.
Maybe she was lying to herself in order to convince herself that this was okay.
But then they should have portrayed that. They didn't. They portrayed that during the song is just like, frick this! This is awesome.
Fuck this shit! Fuck this shit! I'm so awesome! Fuck this shit!
Because it could have been,
mind you, the song was still amazing, but
yeah, it could have been more sad. Like, I have this beautiful world all alone. You know,
and what was she gonna do in her ice fortress of solitude?
I'd like to know where she gets her food.
I wanted to know, like, does she read books? Where does she get those books?
She carved them out of ice.
What was her plan? Because if it was me and I was had my super ice Minecraft powers and I built an entire castle out of them, I'd be like, yes, this is awesome. Well, I'm bored. What now? Then I'd be returning to civilization in like 3 days just because I couldn't find.
Yeah.
Because I wanted something to read.
It might have been interesting had she gone off and isolated herself, and then another like 3 years later, and you know, a very permanent sense of isolation instead of it's been 2 hours. But I don't know if the plot would necessarily jibe with that as currently constructed.
Yeah, one thing I was kind of concerned about, if we don't have a problem against witchcraft,
yeah,
why didn't you use those powers? I mean, it's clear that selling ice is a thing. You can make a ton of money by producing it extremely cheaply.
Yeah.
And how about structures for, like, up in the mountains? Create entire ice lodges for people.
It would be cold.
Yeah, well, there's ice.
There's an ice hotel, but yeah.
Yeah, and people are willing to pay to stay in it.
I know. I don't know why.
I mean, heck, people would pay a lot of money to stay in that ice castle that she created, because honestly, that thing was friggin' beautiful. And how smart is Elsa? I mean, she was able to construct an entire castle with, like, that was able to sustain itself.
Yeah.
Magic. I mean, like, total architecture and stuff.
Yeah, she's smart. I can accept that. And it's not as if they were poor and needed money, so I can see why that doesn't show up.
Okay, well, there's Well, you know it was coming from me. Yeah. Military applications. Enemy ships comes by. Oh, you're an ice cube now.
Right, though she doesn't have control over her powers, so a friendly ship comes by and he's an ice cube too. I think that was the problem.
Well, I'm saying, they could have trained her.
Yeah, that was pretty vague on the training, like we said earlier.
Yeah, just don't do anything.
Just don't.
Oh, thanks. That's a great
powers.
This is,
I understand that they're a little out of their depth, but it's just a little fuzzy, just a little.
You're the king. Use some resources, contact some magicians, and find out how to help your daughter.
Not that we know there are any magicians, but the trolls we mentioned, those are established.
They clearly gave two types of magic. Was she cursed with it or was she born with it? Indicating that they have seen this type of thing before.
Right, yeah, very...
So unless Elsa as a baby was just firing off blasts of magic in every direction...
But she was. They said she was born with it.
Well, forget it.
Alright.
I'm just saying, the trolls probably have encountered other magic users before.
Yeah, probably.
So,
little vague.
Have one of them come and help.
Yeah.
Either the trolls or a magic user.
Yeah. Okay, so this romance thing, I do like that. Yeah, first, and this has really happened in a Disney movie. Well, Enchanted kind of a similar thing.
Enchanted was... Okay, granted, they didn't take the evil route in Enchanted.
No, yeah.
But Enchanted was the first...
Prince Charming, it turns out she marries this guy who's divorced, but he's a nice guy and they love each other.
Yeah. See our review of Enchanted. We reviewed that. Yeah. But anyways, in this one, the guy was actually evil. But I still felt that was a bit, copying the same basic plot.
The bait and switch love interest sort of thing.
Yeah, you shouldn't marry someone you've known for barely 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, this is an old trope of Disney's. Heck, it went back to Snow White, their first animated movie.
That's why they feel the need to subvert it twice. Okay, we're not actually telling young girls to do that. Let's be a little more smart about this. Which I'm glad. I'm glad they're getting more developed. Socially developed or something.
Okay, yeah, but
a little bit of repetition, I suppose.
A little bit of repetition.
You could have done a whole movie much more on the abusive relationship, as the core of it, and learning to get out of that. Instead, it was kind of a last minute thing. Well, I'm not saying he has to beat her or whatever, but emotionally abusive. Instead, it was kind of a last minute thing of, aha, I'm evil, and it worked, but just a little.
It was surprising,
yeah.
But part of the reason it was surprising was that it was not set up very well. We didn't see any side glance. Okay, there was one glance where he tried to. There's a freeze frame bonus when he deflects the arrow, and it's in hindsight, it's pretty obvious he meant to kill Elsa.
Yes, Elsa.
Yeah, pretty obvious he meant to kill Elsa by dropping a friggin' chandelier made of ice on top of her. It wasn't nearly set up enough that he absolutely wanted power. He was 12th in line. He was the youngest of 12.
Youngest of 13, actually.
Yeah. Youngest of 13 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
But in no time that we knew him did he say, but I always wanted power, but I know I'll never get it. Or anything to that effect.
I mean, he did mention the brothers, so when they came up again, you're like, oh, I see, 13th in line. So there's something, but could have been developed more, could have been hinted at a little more. And what gets me is how he's so very nice all the time. And I had heard someone had said something like, oh, Frozen teaches girls about abusive relationships. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I thought, he's going to turn evil, right? He's going to turn evil sometime. And then he wasn't. He was being super nice. Which, in retrospect, okay, he wants to ingratiate himself to the populace, so they will accept his rule. I get that. The one bit I don't get is when he's nice to Elsa when they're alone together in her prison cell. Now, this would be a great time to just chop off her head and say, she attacked me, I had to chop off her head, Leave it at that.
What, was he afraid of no ontological... was he afraid of ontological inertia that it wouldn't go away if he killed her?
If so, then he should still be afraid as to the point where he does decide to chop off her head when they're standing in the harbor, which is also called a fjord. What's the difference between a fjord and a harbor? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Okay. We should probably look that up or something. But, okay, so, and then he decides to do the Bond villain thing and say, "Oh, Anna, If only there was someone who really loved you. Then he proceeds to outline his entire plan to Anna.
Though granted, she was in the process of dying already, which is better than the "I will shoot you at the end of this sentence" bit. But yeah.
Yeah, but then he leaves her locked up in a room.
He leaves her alone
after dampening all the heat sources. What, did he think that like no one would find it suspicious that he locked the room that his dead wife was slumped on the ground in?
Actually, that would make some sense if you didn't want anyone to disturb their corpse or something.
Yeah, but you figure that, like, she's probably going to be on the ground. If you wanted to show you respect and love your dead wife, then you're going to want to put her on the bed.
I suppose so. I could say that he just
not
didn't
like
think
drop
of
her like a sack of it's not like she died in my arms and then I carefully laid her down to rest.
Yeah.
It's not she died in my arms. Then I threw her on the ground like a sack of potatoes and I just went and sell you. Whatever. I'm king now, bitches!
You know, whatever. That's pretty minor, really, because he could just as well say, I was in shock and I didn't know what to do, and blah, blah, blah. And they were all very credulous, and they would have believed him. But yeah, he could have... Well, I guess he couldn't have outright killed her, actually, because she has to turn into a block of ice properly for him to say, look, Elsa did it. And if he had, like, stabbed her or something, then... There's a stab wound here, too. That's weird.
Elsa stabbed her.
Elsa was very
Elsa
thorough.
time stabbed her. She stabbed her in the future. The wound is traveling back through time, and only now is it caught up to the present.
Oh, that'd be interesting. So, yeah, why doesn't... what is his thoughts regarding the inertia of the snow? Either way, it doesn't make sense exactly. If it's never going to go away, don't kill her. And if it is going to go away, just kill her when she's in the prison cell. She's right there. She's handcuffed. Like, this is a great time. And then he follows her out on... I mean, okay, so there's a step in between where he, like, gets everyone's permission to kill her. But he could have said, I was attacked. You know, I responded in a split second type of thing. And they would have believed it. I think. I don't know.
They're not the smartest guys.
Nothing hadn't happened yet, exactly. She hadn't come back with the ice in her heart and so forth. But still pretty vague. So she goes running off onto the fjord, onto the
which is totally
ocean.
Frozen over, and
Totally
it starts cracking up just about now.
For some reason, yeah, it should really freeze even more instead of cracking if she's distressed. But okay. And he's up to her, comes up to her, Hans comes up to her and he says, oh, your sister is dead and it's all your fault. And then, because this hits her so hard emotionally, she falls to the ground and for some reason doesn't nuke the world with ice. Wasn't that the deal? Whenever she's distressed, there is more ice.
Yeah.
And this time she fell over and it's actually stopped snowing and all the snowflakes freeze midair, which was really cool to see. But I was like... But shouldn't the world like explode or something? If she's
or like she turns into her
despair?
or she turns into like her one-winged angel form. Because I'm pretty sure that's how these Final Fantasy type things go. Okay, once you reach the point of absolute despair, you turn into your one-winged angel form, and then you proceed to nuke the world.
It was somehow he disarmed her that way instead of arming her that way. And that was odd.
And then he tries to smash.
And then he's gonna do the sword thing. And I think we suddenly transitioned to slow mo, but you didn't know it. So I was like, why is he just holding his sword up there? Like,
it's always good to stretch before decapitating a witch.
And then Anna runs in. And I very much like this double subversion. It was going to be, oh, we need to fix things with your one true love. We'll kiss Hans. And then, oh, wait, Hans is evil. Oh, we'll kiss... Kristoff. And then, no, you moron. Romantic love is not the only sort of love. How about sisterly love? And then they did that, and I like that. Even though I kind of saw it coming, but I liked that.
Yeah.
But it was a little...
Well, I saw it coming, but this is the second time I've seen the movie, so...
So no, they didn't see it coming. But it's a little odd that her act of love is... to sacrifice herself to save her sister, and that would have been much more a thing if she had previously hated her sister. If they had a big falling out, if they were mad at each other, and then sisterly love triumphs over all, and she's willing to sacrifice her life, then you'd be like, aha, I see the thematic thingamajig here. Instead she's always
there was an argument earlier, you know, she after she got blasted in the heart, she said, no, let's leave. She doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, but that's not the same, really. You know, Elsa didn't feel that Anna hated her either, even as a misunderstanding. Like, I've been abandoned even by my sister, the one person who really understood me. That wasn't exactly happening. It was just a more generic, I'm afraid of hurting people, as I've always been. Anna was, I care for my sister, as I've always cared for her. Even when she left me alone, I cared for her. And look, at the climax, I still care for her. Well, of course you do. You've been doing that the whole time. I mean, it wasn't a bad moment. It wasn't like, ugh. It was just... It could have been more if you just set it up differently somehow. You know what I mean?
Also, I don't think a steel sword is going to break against ice.
Magic. Yeah.
Shut up. Magic is not the answer to everything.
That's the best I can do.
Look, unless she turned into a weeping angel and was quantum locked, the sword ain't breaking. Her arm is getting cut off. That might have been a really interesting moment. Like, she does destroy the statue, and Elsa just freaks the fuck out and tries to toast his ass. And what's his name? Kristoff comes in and says, "No, this isn't what Anna would have wanted." And so she has to go on with the knowledge that her sister is dead, and that she has to build a better kingdom for.
Yeah, they would not end a Disney movie that way, but
no, that would have been a good ending.
This is a good ending. But...
yeah, it was a good ending. It would have been a better ending.
Yeah. So, yeah, a few things were vague here and there, as we've been pointing out. But still, I love the themes they're getting at here. The family bonds, loneliness, isolation, self-isolation, self-hatred even. I feel like I could whip it up and make it even better than what it was, but I have to spend some time on it.
Suicidal obsession. They had this and that in this movie too.
You mean Olaf?
Oh yeah. I want to be warm. You're made of snow. Yeah. How is it that you know what a warm sunny day is? That you know what a white sanded, that you know what a beach is? That you can imagine a jacuzzi and tanning, but you don't know that ice melts.
Yeah, it's a little weird. He's very delusional, I guess. I don't know.
There's delusional, and then there's just stupid.
Incidentally, we have technically the first openly gay character in a Disney movie in this movie.
Yeah, the awesome storekeeper guy.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, I didn't catch it just from watching it, but Matt explained later that some animator had been interviewed and said, "Yeah, when he says my family, there's a bunch of kids and a man over there."
Yep, he's gay.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. But yeah, I liked how self-aware it was. I like how many times you think you're leading in something and then they change it up just a bit. Like when Anna's leading Kristoff around in the blindfold at the end, like, oh, it's right over here, and wham! Oh, pull. Okay, wait, no, sorry. There was a lot of these little ticks in a good way of things are just a little off kilter because we know you've seen this stuff before and we're changing it up for you. I'm like, thank you. Okay, this is more creative. Anticipating the opening of the gates was a lot like Rapunzel in Tangled, who was, had been isolated all her life, but it's still a neat thing to explore, so nothing too wrong with that, really. And it wasn't a dumb sequel to something. Disney's made a few of those.
Oh, no. And plus, more importantly, this is like the best movie we've seen in a little while.
In a while.
No, we're serious. We were on this streak of just awful movies.
Some of them we haven't talked about at all. We just give up. This is a bad movie. Let's watch it. And we're like, oh god, we're so bored. Never mind. So we broke that streak personally. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I recommend it.
Yeah, it's
just
good.
A little bit of fuzziness here and there, but that's okay. Yeah. I think that's about all I have to say.
Yeah. I can't wait for the How to Train Your Dragon sequel.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, want to see that.
We saw this. The trailer they had just showed you nothing of the plot. It's just he's older and he's badass, and you're gonna show up just for that, aren't you? Which is fine. Yeah, I like the trailer.
I've seen two versions of the trailer. One actually shows off the plot.
Okay.
it apparently involves an invasion by other Vikings, and we meet his mom.
Okay. How did that happen? Yeah, she was implied to be dead in the first movie.
Oh yeah, because I'm so aware of what the movie's going to have in it.
You just said you were aware that we would meet his mom. Are you aware, aren't you?
I am aware that yes, but you asked a specific question of how does that happen? How should I know? All I know is that this happens.
Okay.
I don't know the
circumstances. All right. That's a different movie.
It's like saying,
Frozen was
Spock
good.
It's like hearing from a prequel. Oh, Spock dies in Wrath of Khan. Okay, how does he die? Oh, I just heard that plot point. I don't know how he dies.
I wasn't accusing you of anything. I was just bringing
I'm accusing
that up.
you.
Okay, good to know. See you in court. Frozen was good.
Frozen was good. You'll probably have it on DVD by the time this review comes out.
Potentially.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
We're signing off.